Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for going against my wife who doesn't want me to attend my brother's gig without her, because a girl that tried to get me to dance 12 years ago at a wedding will be there? My brother is coming to town for Christmas and is playing a gig while here. I have only seen him play live a few times because most all his gigs are in his city or overseas. We're great mates and both grew up loving music, jamming together, and music is our #1 topic when we get together. He doesn't gig in my town very often, so this is a great opportunity to see him play live and support my bro. While attending his wedding 12 years ago, one of the bridesmaids tried to drag me up to dance. I was tired and being boring and respectfully declined. Unknown to me at the time, my wife did not take kindly to this and later said I don't trust that girl. Let's call her X. Anyway, X also lives in my city and will be attending the gig. I believe X, myself and my wife, are the only lot from the circle that live in this city. As such, X has asked if we would all like to have dinner before the gig. I imagine so we can all get reacquainted before we go party in a noisy club. My wife has her work Christmas party earlier that day and is unlikely to make the dinner, but should be able to make the gig provided she's still up for it. Here's the catch. My wife has hung on to X trying to get me to dance 12 years ago and still doesn't think she can be trusted. As such, not only does she not want me to attend the dinner if she's not there, she also does not want me attending my brother's gig if she can't make it, because X will be there. It also doesn't help that X is now single, so, clearly, she will be on the hunt for married men, right? I have never had any reason to think X has any intentions toward me, but my wife thinks I'm just being a typical male and girls can sense these things. In the few times I've actually met X, she's been sociable, chatty, but not at all flirtatious, so I just don't see an issue. Sure, she tried to get me up to dance a long time ago, but it was a wedding. She was trying to get people dancing, and I was being one of the boring ones. I think that is all there was to it. I'm trying to have empathy for my wife and put her needs first, because she's my wife and I love her to bits. She's also has good reason to feel uncomfortable because she was cheated on by the few boyfriends she had before me. I'm very loyal, very trusting, uncontrolling. I'm the kind that, if I saw a guy try to chat her up, I'd probably high-five her and say, "See? You still got it, babe, so maybe I'm unusual?" As such, I won't attend the dinner if my wife can't make it, because that I can do. But not being allowed to attend my brother's gig feels like a step too far for me. Why can she not just trust me, or trust that if X did decide to pay me any unwanted attention, I would handle it like a good man should? She's also understandably concerned. The gig is an EDM affair, so there may be some substances had that generate significant empathy between partygoers. Either way, not my first rodeo, and such things do not make me want to jump people's bones. Chat? Sure. Dance? Hell yes. Party with my wife and go home together? Abso-fucking-lutely. Jump someone else's bones? Hell no. I know it's not me she doesn't trust, it's X. She's has spoken to one of our female friends about it. But friend has sided with her and says I'm being naughty by going and not putting her needs first. I'm sure my male friends would probably side with me. So how about I ask a bunch of people who don't have a friend bias? So, Reddit. With all that said, am I the bad person for insisting she allows me to go to my brother's gig whether she comes or not? Let's hear it. Much appreciated. What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for not wanting to stay home with my boyfriend's nephew? I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend for 7 years, and we've lived together for 3. He is of another nationality. My boyfriend has a brother who is also married to someone local. Early in our relationship, his sister-in-law went through my social media and found an old Facebook account of mine. She showed this profile to my mother-in-law, who was quite close-minded. My boyfriend told me about this, and I explained that the account was outdated and that I didn't even remember the email or password to access it. That account contained photos and videos of me with friends from years ago, pool days, dancing, beach outings, meals, just normal stuff. However, my mother-in-law got a bad impression because my boyfriend's family is very reserved. She assumed I wasn't someone who could be in a serious relationship. Since then, my boyfriend's sister-in-law has made it a habit to meddle in matters between my boyfriend and me. This context is just to give you an idea of the kind of person she is. A few years ago, my boyfriend's brother, his wife, and their son started traveling more often. Usually, they traveled with their 11-year-old son. My boyfriend and I don't have children, just a small dog. Our apartment is small and located by the beach. It has only one bedroom, one bathroom, a living room, a small kitchen, and a balcony. It's cozy, but there's no extra space. My boyfriend told me that his nephew would be staying with us for a while. I asked how he made that decision without consulting me. He said he missed his nephew a lot. I told him I understood that, but that it wasn't fair for him to make such a decision without my input. I know he loves his nephew, but I barely know the kid. Besides, my boyfriend often goes out with his nephew and his family without inviting me. According to him, these outings are spontaneous, and there's no time to let me know so I can get ready. I don't have a car, so he'd have to pick me up if he wanted me to join. My boyfriend insisted that his nephew was independent and that I wouldn't have to do anything for him. However, I asked where the boy would sleep since we don't have an extra room. He said we'd set up an inflatable mattress in our bedroom, but I found that inappropriate. I explained that it would be uncomfortable to share our bedroom and only bathroom with a child, especially since our place gets very hot. I told him I didn't understand why his brother and sister-in-law would send their son to someone else's house when they know how small our apartment is. My boyfriend repeated that he missed his nephew a lot since we moved to the coast. I replied that I miss my family too, but they've never come to visit us because they know we don't have the space to host them. I also reminded him that he works from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., which means I'd be the one staying with the child all day, not him. I asked him to tell me the real reason behind the visit. After I pressed him several times, he admitted that the boy's grandparents, his parents, are too old to take care of him and that his brother and sister-in-law want to travel alone sometimes. I asked why I had to do a favor for people who've tried to sabotage me and with whom I have no relationship. He replied that it wasn't a favor to them, it was because he wanted to spend time with his nephew. So, I told him that if I agreed to let the boy stay, it probably wouldn't be the last time. He replied that the boy is family. It feels like I'm not good enough for his family in most ways, but I'm fine when it comes to babysitting their child. That felt hypocritical to me. We argued, and since he wouldn't change his mind, I told him I'd agree to let the boy stay, but I would stay at my mom's house during his visit. That upset him, and he said my threat was petty. I responded that I didn't understand why it bothered him so much if, according to him, I wouldn't have to do anything for the child. What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for demanding my sister to return my daughter's dolls after her kids took them? My 33F, 11-year-old daughter is really into dolls, specifically Crybaby and Baby Alive dolls. She's not an age regressor, she just genuinely enjoys playing with them. Last Christmas, my sister, 38F, and her kids came over for a sleepover to open some presents with us since their dad was out of town. My daughter was really excited about the dolls she received, but her younger cousins weren't happy about it and tried to take them from her. Instead of telling them to stop, my sister told me that my daughter was too old for dolls and that her kids deserved them more. I refused to give the dolls away and put them in my daughter's room to keep them safe. That night, while my daughter was asleep, her cousin snuck into her room and took the dolls. When my daughter woke up and noticed they were missing, she was upset. I called my sister, and she again said my daughter was too old for them and that her kids had a better right to the dolls. I told my daughter to stay at home, and I left to go to my sister's house by myself. When I arrived, I demanded that she tell me where the dolls were, or I would report it as theft. After some back and forth, I got the dolls back, went home, and gave them to my daughter. My sister was calling me a horrible person, and I ended up blocking her. So, am I the bad person for going this far to get my daughter's dolls back? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.